The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of our Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. One recurring thing I have noticed when learning about the history of racism or misogyny is that often the situations get out of hand because cis men and white people just don't know how to mind their business. And over the last few years, Word Girl has become a personal favorite of mine, and I consider it to be a comfort show. But more I watch the series, the more I appreciate how chaotic its main character, Word Girl, aka Becky Botsford, is. Often when it comes to shows on PBS, I get a bit annoyed with them because the main character, or characters, are seen to be flawless and Word Girl stands out from that. There's an episode where the school is putting on a production of Romeo and Juliet. Becky auditions for the role of Juliet and she didn't get it. She's the understudy. When she learns what an understudy is, she tries to convince Violet to give up the role. It was being very disruptive during the rehearsal of the play. So one, if Becky had just minded her business, all of this would have been avoided because she knew damn well that there was a monster on the loose, and she still went out to go do something else when she knows her responsibility is to protect the city. And that is the formula for a great deal of this show. Becky's pride gets in the way of so much and it results in her being frustrated with her job. Because of that, Violet got kidnapped because she didn't handle the monster the way she should have. I don't know, Word Girl be having plot holes, okay? But anyway, Violet got kidnapped. Therefore, Becky did have the option to go on stage, but guess what? She couldn't because it's her responsibility to save Violet. If somebody get kidnapped, that's what she got to do. Becky even considered not saving Violet. The entire night was ruined for both her and Violet. Now, what the fuck does Word Girl have to do with anything? For it to be a show on PBS that taught the audience new words to use in their vocabulary, and an ongoing thing within the series is people just bothering other people, along with Becky not fully understanding that she shouldn't take on so much because it always hurts her in the end. Like, yes, Becky is young. She's allowed to make mistakes, but she is constantly reminded every so often that she just needs to mind her business. In the most recent instance of keeping your nose to yourself, you'll probably be familiar with what's going on with the book and writing community, that being a white author fucking up so much for many other people because she felt threatened by people of color who wrote similar stories. Trust me, I'm gonna be adding some new takes to this discussion because I know y'all are tired of hearing the same shit. But it makes me think of all the different times that things got fucked up for numerous people because one person just didn't know how to mind their business. So let's have a discussion about it.
Come on, boys, get loud. 'Cause when the music starts bumping, the whole place will be jumping. It's my scene, you know what I'm.
So, okay, we're here. Hey y'all, it's Harriana back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana. Welcome to and welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain. You were not my first mate. I don't got no first mate because you want to know why. Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. Nobody's worthy of being the first mate. You got that? Anyways, hi, hello, my name is Harriana, and I like to make content based on nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Listen, I just want to talk about something that's just really been going through my brain a lot lately with my studies in college, because so much of it is just if we just minded our business, this wouldn't have happened. This most definitely wouldn't have happened. But before I go any further, I just have two quick little announcements. One, the first one is that me and my friend Amaya Janelle, you guys may be familiar with her, you've been watching my videos, we wrote a book together called Do Not Call Me Sis. It's a collection of essays that focus on the subjects of ableism, misogynoir, entertainment, and white feminism. We are having a book discussion for it on February 17th. Tickets are available for purchase on my website. And by the way, you can only be able to come if you have gotten a copy of the book. So yeah, there is still time to read the book before we have the discussion. For those of you who have not gotten it yet and have not read it, it's only about 150 pages. It's not long, but deeply appreciate if you guys will come and check that out. It's going to be a great night of just learning and all that jazz. You gotta be 18 plus though in order to go. So yeah, it's virtual, by the way. Next thing, I have a zine called What I Was Doing Instead of My Homework. It is basically a zine that I put together of funny little stories and rants about fandoms that I was in growing up. There are wholesome moments. There are moments where it's just me ranting about what the fuck pissed me off about some of these things. But overall, it's just kind of like me looking back at my younger self and just laughing a bit. So yeah, by the time this video goes up, the zine will be available for purchase. This is a digital zine, by the way. It's not any printed copies of it. It's strictly digital. But yeah, deeply appreciate if you guys check that out. The link will be down below. Now let's go ahead and get back to talking about the art of minding your business, because there's an art to this thing and there's levels to it. So if you guys are not familiar with me, or if you've been watching my stuff for a while but you don't know this, I am minoring specifically in African American studies in college, and we are learning so much about not just racism within America, but we also are learning a lot about misogyny in America too, especially misogyny towards Black women, and that is called misogynoir for those of you guys who don't know that phrase. But as I am doing these studies and then what I am learning in school, I go out and look at these readings myself because I am a nerd. I really enjoy learning. Haha. I just came to the conclusion that so many of the issues that have to do with race and misogyny in the world, not just America, really had to do with the fact that people were not minding their business. Because I remember it was Ashio, who I really love her channel. She mentioned this when I was talking about Tom and Jerry, and she was like, do y'all realize that a lot of those racist cartoons that used to come out, like, you know, the Looney Tunes, the Merry Melodies, Tom and Jerry, I'm even sure Popeye has some anti-blackness over there too, just as well, really was just white people bothering Black people for no reason. Because that's literally what minstrel shows was too, just as well. Literally, that is what the transatlantic slave trade started with like white people just bothering Black people. And so many of the issues with misogyny that we often hear about have to do with the fact that just men won't mind their business and they're just going out and bothering women for absolutely no reason. I know we have heard numerous stories about women going out to the bar, going out to the club, and then a random man just comes up to them and starts bothering them. And I just want to sit here and just talk about numerous different instances of how minding your business literally just, let me tell you, it's a solution. It's a solution. Because I sat there and I talked about Word Girl in the introduction, but that is an ongoing thought that I have in my head when I'm watching the show. And I'm like, if Becky just minded the business that paid her, she wouldn't have gotten into this pickle. All right. Now let's go ahead and get into the first part of this. We are going to be talking about Hall Mat. Holiday Matsuri, also known as Hall Mat, is a pop culture convention held every year in Orlando, Florida, close to Christmas time. It is one of the most popular Christmas-themed conventions in the United States. That being said, because of its popularity, it attracts numerous kinds of people, including those you would much rather not be around. Pretty much every industry and community is going to have problematic people in it. I hate that shit. Anyways, a lot of people go to conventions simply to have fun, while others see them as business opportunities, because they see this as an opportunity to just have a good time. And you know what happens? Mess happens. At this year's Hall Mat, there was an incident where men broke into the hotel and roofied the water as an attempt to take advantage of women and femme-presenting people. Personally, when it comes to conventions, I choose not to go to parties because they aren't for me, also because I'm concerned for my safety. That being said, the people who choose to go to these parties should still be safe in that environment. And the people in charge of these parties need to improve how they manage them. And I also learned that this water only wasn't at the parties, it was also in the game room and the pool area. Misogyny isn't something that only hurts women and femme presenting people, it hurts all of us. Because you want to know why? Because feminine presenting people were not the only ones who were affected by this. Numerous different kinds of people drank that water, therefore, different people were drugged, including those not old enough to drink. Because of this situation, it ruined the convention for a great amount of attendees. The ambulance was at the hotel often, and with others going to the hospital. The most frustrating thing about this all is that conventions are supposed to be safe space for those who enjoy nerdy things, but people use them as an opportunity to take advantage of people. Not much different than what's going on at other events, and the main reason I'm saying this is because I'm frustrated with people acting as if this is only a nerd community problem. It's fucking not. Shit like this happens all the time at more mainstream events, such as music festivals just as well. Coachella is a big significant player into this shit. This is not a nerd community problem, it's a society problem. People should be free to go to these events as they please and not risk their health and safety. If security did more regarding the safety, but also, if that group of people in a gross ass gang weren't trying to bother people, this wouldn't have happened at all. Now, you just heard that entire plethora of fuckery. There are some more things that I want to bring up about that instance right there, because this is something that I have noticed over like the last 2 years. Mind you that I found out that this has always been a problem within the convention space, the nerd space, anything. Mind you, people, like I said, somebody acted as if this was only a problem here. No, there are numerous other communities where this is an issue. The ongoing thing that I've noticed is that in the past, nerdy things such as video games, cartoons, whatever the fuck, a lot of these things are seen to be like more male oriented and they attract more male audiences, because I say within the last 15 years or so, it's been a bit different with how we view nerdy things. Because I remember in the past when it came to YouTube, a lot of the nerdy videos that I came across were posted by men. And nowadays we are finding more and more women and femme presenting people that are uploading videos on this platform just talking about nerdy things. A lot more people are more open about liking nerdy things, I'd say. But it's kind of funny how a lot of these things are seen as nerdy when really they're just hobbies and interests. We can even say that here with the cartoon community on YouTube, where it is very much male dominated. For the longest, nerd spaces, especially conventions, they were seen to be more male oriented and they mainly attracted men. I remember Izzy's had posted a video talking about the Brony dating sim, which I will link down below, and it basically was like a dating site for brownies. And part of the reason why it failed is because a lot of the people that were using the site were just men that were trying to meet other women, but there were not that many women that were a part of the site. With the HallMat instance, and just the problem with conventions in general, because HallMat is not the only convention that has had problems similar to this, there's lots of other things that have happened. Men take advantage of the fact that women and femme presenting people have similar interests in them, and then they go to town with that and just ruin the community and so much of everything for everyone. They see that a woman or femme presenting person is dressed up as a character that they really like, especially characters that are female, anime characters specifically, and then next thing you know, they just go and start harassing them. This is why we had to start saying cosplay is not consent. Just because you see a woman or femme presenting person dressed up as a fictional character that you like does not give you the right to do whatever the fuck you want to them and say whatever the fuck you want to them. And now the calm ruined. A whole bunch of people literally went to the hospital. A whole bunch of people are sick, have health complications, not realizing that they are going to be affected deeply by this. There are numerous people talking about how they don't plan on going back, and there's people who haven't gone at all plan to say that they never will show up at a convention, period. And I hate the fact that it's being written off as don't go to the parties, don't go to the game room, don't go to the pool area. Like, First of all, I am somebody that goes to conventions simply for the con. I like going to the con. I like looking at the cosplay contests. I like going to the artist alley. I like going to the panels and whatnot. I'm not particularly a party person when it comes to conventions. But just because the people that are interested in parties, like I mentioned in the part before, that doesn't mean that what happens to them at that parties should happen, because there should be more done about the safety and the security that is going on within these facilities. And when I found out this one particular game had been going on for years, it's just literally them bothering people that just don't want to be bothered. It is so freaking frustrating, because this entire thing with Hallmat, like I mentioned earlier, could be avoided. Next, moving forward from Hallmat, I want to talk a bit about Disney XD's Kicking It. I have been reminiscing on the days of me being a huge fan of this series. The link to my zine down below if you guys are interested in reading about that. And there's one thing that I have just gotten really irritated with this series, would have to be the character Jerry. I never liked Jerry when I was younger, and I strongly dislike him now more as an adult, because I'm starting to see more of the red flags with his character. But there's one particular instance with Jerry that truly did upset me, because the show likes to write Jerry off as the one that everybody likes and like wants to be with, but he's actually very insufferable, and he be getting curved. Like, yeah, he be going on dates with people, but like also he gets curved. As much as I love Kicking It, I will be the first person to tell you that when this series does deal with taboo subjects, it is done with little to no nuance at all. The best part of this series has to be Kim and Jack's slow burn relationship, and that's saying a lot. And actually, that's a big pointer. Somebody had pointed out that Kim and Jack's relationship was written better than a lot of CW relationships, and I strongly agree. And when it comes to having relationships within shows, there are often going to be obstacles that get in the way of the two characters being together, or when the relationship is actually going on, there are some rocky things to it. For the most part, I'd say that when Kim and Jack's characters actually got together, it was pretty healthy, but it was like a bit frustrating because we low-key didn't really get to see them be a couple, because Olivia Hart's departure from the series affected that. Right when Kim and Jack got together, she just left. Like, cause she went and got another job somewhere else. And yeah, kudos to her. She got to be the main character of the series. But if we being fucking honest, a lot of the people watch Kicking It for Olivia Holt's character, me being included. But like I said, during this Kicking It rewatch and mentioning Kim's character, this show has a big issue with misogyny. And it's frustrating because it feels like little to no nuance with it. Because it's like Kim has to deal with a misogynistic man, she proves him wrong, and then the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. And that's just my issue with this show beyond season 2, because it started to get very repetitive and it started to get annoying. What is the point of you having all this misogynistic shit in the show if it's gonna keep happening and if you're just finding new ways to make it more annoying? Listen, I am somebody that was deeply invested in a lot of the Disney XD shows that came on in the 2010s, but there is just this one thing that I have noticed in particular that differs from the Disney Channel series, and that misogyny played a lot into its storylines. And it makes sense because they claim that Disney XD is the network that is meant for older audience when it comes to Disney, and they say that Disney Channel was for a younger audience, but let's be fucking for real. Disney Channel was for girls, Disney XD was for boys. And when you have something that is more male oriented, guess what? If you guys are fans of anime, you guys are friends of video games, you know often what comes along with male oriented media. Being disrespectful towards women, girls, and femme presenting people. Now, Jerry's character is one that I always just thought to be like a bit of a pig, kind of like Tucker from Danny Phantom. I have some problems with Tucker's character, and we're going to talk about that later in another video. Like, while we may not like him, we have to acknowledge that there's some issues with anti-blackness with his writing. There is one particular thing that Jerry had did that just spoiled him for the entirety of the series with me, because when I go back and watch the best season, season 2, I just can't stand him because of what he did in season 4, knowing that what he does later on, showing that he just has no improvement with his behavior. But there was a situation where Jack wanted to talk on the phone with Kim, but he was busy doing other things. At this time period, Kim was away in school in another country. I'm pretty sure it's Japan. I'm still trying to, rework my memory on it. But there was one thing that Jack had asked Jerry to do for him, and he's like, hey, if Kim calls, let me know. You want to know what Jerry's hater ass does? He just like keeps declining all of like Kim's calls. He just like keeps declining them, and it's just very much giving hater. Like, he just keeps declining her calls. He's like, oh no, you need to focus on this, you don't need to talk to her. And I'm just like, Jerry, you know damn well that you wouldn't like it if Jack did that to you, to the person you were dating. You know damn well you wouldn't like that shit.
Hi, editing me here. As you guys see me rant about Jerry, this isn't necessarily just a problem that I had with the series Kicking It, but it is an issue that I have noticed with a bunch of Disney Channel series. And it's just a problem that I've noticed in a lot of family entertainment just as well, because they constantly are putting these characters into situations where they make bad decisions, and then time and time again, they just repeat that same behavior. It's like, okay, they do this one thing that's very fucked up, and then they go do something similar to that thing they did where they fucked up. And that's why I say Kicking It really started to go downhill in season 3, because one, they went ahead and got rid of Eddie's character, the only black character that they just acted like he didn't exist. I made an entire video about it. I will have that link down below. But I started to get really annoying with the writing for pretty much all the characters except for Kim and Jack, because it's just as if the writers had no idea what to do with them. It's like season 1 and 2 was just them fucking up, learning and making mistakes, but then season 3, when the characters are getting older and they're still repeating those said things that they did in season 1, it starts to get really frustrating. And mind you, like I said, Jerry was a character that I always found irritating from the beginning. But in season 4, they already got rid of Eddie, and Eddie wasn't that much of a contribution to the show in the first place. Kim was literally gone. Kim was the scene stealer of the series. A lot of the plots revolved around her. When she was no longer there, it's as if the writing for all the other characters just became more frustrating, and the characters became more insufferable, that being Jerry included. I don't know, y'all. I just have a big hate boner for the last season of Kicking It. It's straight ass. This shit ass cheeks. I hate it. Ooh, okay, let me get back in here.
Season 4 of Kicking It is very strange because they're missing the part of the series that held the glue together. Maybe Kim wasn't in that episode that much is because they weren't really able to work Olivia Holt into the story all the way into the end, because you know we have this thing called scheduling conflicts. But just because it's a scheduling conflict does not make up for the bad misogynistic writing that this show always liked to put into it. And it's like another thing that just really irritates me with Jerry's character, because so many of the situations that he gets into where he fucks up shit and has to pay for it, he did that to himself simply because he wouldn't mind his damn business. Moving on from Kicking It, let's talk about Kraine. Mind you, I'm gonna add some new takes to this because this situation, I've been pissed off about it. I've been real pissed off about it. Every other day, there is like some type of new drama going on with the reading and writing community, and I thought we were just all coming together for our love of literature. Like, it's ghetto over here, I'm scared. But if you guys are not familiar with what is going on with Kraine, this is like the Spark Notes, more specifically like Smoop, because Smoop speaks similar to how I do, version of what had happened. Kraine is a white author, go by they, she pronouns. Correct me if I'm wrong. They are an author that is coming out with a book that will no longer be coming out because the people that were supposed to be producing it and putting it out, they yanked that shit from her, saying since you want to act like this, since you want to be racist, it's gone. Kraine felt very intimidated by a lot of authors that wrote books in a similar genre to hers. And guess what the fuck she did? Guess what the fuck they did? They went and reviewed bomb those books, yeah, on Goodreads. They went and did a review bomb, and what's so frustrating about it is because there was a thing that a lot of people were noticing with this situation is that the authors that she was review bombing were authors that were a part of marginalized groups, specifically those that were people of color. And I know Zoran is one of them. I was just like, wait, why? Like, what's the purpose? Why are you so intimidated? You want to know something that I have just learned about like a lot of white people when they get into spaces with people of color? They fail to realize that their white privilege still gave them an advantage to get there. Like, boo, you were fine. Like, mind your business and just shut up. And it's just so irritating and it's just so frustrating because this entire situation could have been avoided. It couldn't have happened because guess what? Kate literally fucked up her book deal. Like literally fucked it up. She probably gonna have to go over a new pen name, try to like rewrite everything if she wants to, you know, actually get her work out, unless she goes the self-publishing route. And it's so sad because a lot of people aren't necessarily even knowing Kate for her work. They're simply just knowing her for this scandal right here. And she said that she was dealing with a lot of things. I get that. I understand that. But if it comes to a certain point where what you're dealing with, when it starts to hurt other people, that's when it becomes a bigger problem. I don't want to necessarily spend too much time on this section right here because like I said, it was the hot topic for like a whole month here on YouTube. Everybody's been talking about it and I don't want to feel like that I am repeating the same talking points over and over and over again. But it's just sad to see somebody fuck something up for themselves so bad simply because they just couldn't mind their business. And as we know, Black History Month is coming up and people be using this month as the only time of the year to talk about Black issues and uplift Black creators, artists, whatever the fuck, any Black person that makes things and contributes great things to society. I want people to sit here and realize that a lot of these situations that they are teaching about, especially because you know what comes right after Black History Month? Women's History Month. I want a lot of these people to sit here and realize that so many of these situations could have been avoided if people just weren't out here bothering other people. Because I remember it was Kaylin, that's their channel name. I'm going to link the video down below because it was very well done, where it was talking about the respectability politics and how it applies to the LGBT community. And one ongoing thing that I was noticing when I was watching this video is like, why are y'all bothering gay people? Why are y'all bothering trans people? Like, why? They're just over here doing what they do, minding their business, and you guys just came into their space and just started irritating them. For what reason? Why? Like, even though y'all know I mainly be talking about Dr. Seuss so much on this channel, mainly because I was just so distraught when I found out about his racistness. Is that even a word? It's just like, for what reason did you feel the need to just bother Black people in your work? For what reason? Theodore. What is the problem? What is going on? I ain't forget about you cheating on your wife with cancer. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This was one that I actually had planned to put out in the beginning of the month, but I was just so irritated with Luster by Raven Leilani and it was bothering me, so that's why I put that video out first. It's still the beginning of the year. Everything feels weird. January is like the longest month ever and I can't stand that. Especially, I feel like it feels so long because I'm somebody that suffers deeply with seasonal depression and it has not been good over here. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Just have like a few little things, like a reminder, I am doing text message SMS marketing for my blog, my website, and even some of my YouTube videos too, since YouTube don't be wanting to notify y'all. So if you guys are interested in that, the link to that will be down below. I also am making sure I'm using my mailing list more, so the link to that will be down below. It's just simply on my website. You can just scroll and then it's right there. I have a blog on my website. I have merch on my website. If any of you guys wanted to like know about that, it's like an entire thing. I put so much into like my merchandise and whatever the fuck. But yeah, remember book discussion, remember the new zine is out. We deeply appreciate that right there. And yeah, just remember, mind your business, drink water, yeah, making sure you're engaging with media that you actually like and not just simply hate watching things and hate reading things. I don't have the energy to do that no more. That's all I gotta say about that. By the way, I do a Q&A on my channel now once a month and it's only open to my patrons. So if you guys are interested in that, just join the Patreon, completely optional. But like the monthly Q&A, I will be making the post soon, getting the questions for that. So yeah, that's into this. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Well, thank you for watching with the ads on. How did I forget that? Alright, goodbye.
So now that you see, you should beware of the power of three. They come to fight as fast as they can. They're dangerous yet fabulous. Because the Utonium made them eschew. They are the colors of pink, green, and blue. They'll catch you in the blink of an eye and do it all before bedtime. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical The Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay.